All right, y'all. I just wanted to briefly rant to y'all. Um, y'all excuse my microphone. I was acting a little crazy, but in the season, it's graduation season. Everybody's graduating. I went to a graduation last week, and it was a private school, and everybody in this private school graduated early. It was really only like 20 of them, but a majority of them graduated 2 years early. It's all black private school, and they actually lost their funding like the last 2 months of the school system or whatever. So they won't be doing this school ever again. Pretty much what the principal was saying. Um, they everybody when they got up there, they bust their little gown open, and they were going. Yeah, I'm going to Albany State, going to Fort Valley State, I'm going to Penn State. Everybody's going to college. Everybody's gotten accepted and going to college. And we're in a new dispensation. You know what I'm saying? And it's a happy celebration, man. I was all teary eyed, and then once that came down, and I'm driving back home, reality kind of stuck in for me. And I realized, man, you know what? These kids may not have no jobs. They may be going to school for absolutely nothing. And we as black parents, and some white parents, some other parents also, but I'm just, this now, am I concerned with the black parents? That's what I know. That's what I know, that's what I see. That's the dialogues that I overhear. I don't know what's going on in the white community. I don't know what's going on in the Hispanic community. Are they talking about it? I doubt it. I doubt any parents are really talking about it or even worried about it until it's gone, until it disappears, and it's gonna disappear like whoop, it ain't gonna be no time. And it's already here. And I'm talking about, this dispensation of AI. We're in the age of AI. And are we preparing our children for that? A lot of our children don't know what they're gonna do, and you don't have time. And for me, man, the way it looked for me, and again, I'm not no parent, so I can't really fully understand. You letting your child live his dream. My dad let me go and live my dreams and go out and go to school, and it was one of the worst things I could have did. You know what I'm saying? For me, it did. That's the way it turned out. And the people around me, that some of my brothers that did graduate, it didn't bless them like that. They end up with becoming teachers. You know what I'm saying? And in hopes now to become a principal so they can make more money. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a failure, but it's just you didn't go there for that. You know what I'm saying? You go there, and I thought I was going there to try to make video games and do computer programming and all of that, and they end up, man, I was programming registers for Walmart because that was the reality of it. Brother, you in Georgia. Ain't no darn software companies here. And they gonna want somebody, even if you go into the Silicon Valley and the West Coast, they gonna want somebody that's from over there. Because they're gonna be more educated on it. They that's their workforce. They're gonna develop it, better strictly for them, solely for them. So they don't have to guess. They don't have to guess as much. They know that this person, once he has this scholarship from here, they had them schools like the Art Institute. Stuff is that back in the day, man. Art Institute used to be a little prestigious for producers and graphic design and stuff like that. But man, it's that school should be obsolete within the next 2 years. Ain't no Art Institute. Ain't no art. Everything can be produced by AI. A couple of examples I've been seeing, of course, the robo taxi, they finna get ready to drop in the next year or so. They're saying that this robo-taxi can make you $50,000 a year. All right, you have a robo-taxi, it can make you $50,000 a year. I seen the nurses and doctors who look at those in the field of nursing, or I don't know, where they look at the X-rays, and then they can write down what's going on in the X-ray. AI can look at that and process that darn that X-ray within 10 seconds and tell you exactly what's going on, whether the lungs are filled, all of that. And how much does that cost? How much you think a app like that costs? Well, you can just, you can load up, you can take the X-ray and load it up. You can probably do that on your phone. And AI is giving you all the darn symptoms of what vertebrae, what bone is broken, with fluid in the lung. Come on, man. And a lot of that within those hospitals is them just looking at stuff and giving you what's the word I'm looking for? Writing you prescriptions and telling you what you need to do. Recommendations. They recommending, hey, you should do this, you should do that, on how to cure these things, and what medication to prescribe for these things. And we'll do that on our phone a little bit already. And probably the hospital field or medical field, they won't let that information get out there like that. But eventually the AI is going to be out there. Eventually people are just going to be putting the AI out there. Lawyers, doctors, all of that stuff is going to be all stuff just dealing with information and knowing something. It's going to be almost worthless because of AI. I could see even preachers being inside of pulpits, them having AI pastors. I seen this one school, especially, like I told you, those two, that brother and that couple that left IURC and went over there to vocab to try to give out their grievances. They said they go to Sabbath class and they're just watching videos for 8 hours. They're sitting there just watching videos for 8 hours. Can't ask no questions. Well, now you can you can watch the video and you can ask the questions. And you can take your pastor home with you and ask him questions. And you can just do a little sermon at the house with the AI. You ain't got to sit here and wait on nobody to do no videos. And that's what I'm saying. He's trying to prepare. And Israel is so darn, man. Listen, man. We ain't got no sense. We're foolish people, man. Stiff-necked, foolish people. You're not going to be able to keep lying. You're not going to be able to keep making things up. You're just going to have to deal with what the text says. Nobody's going to trust you over AI. Your husband ain't going to trust you. Your children ain't going to trust you over AI. You're not going to be able to lie to your kids. I remember this one sister was telling a kid that that Chuck E. Cheese was closed. She went and hit that little button on, that little button on Google and said, hey, is Chuck E. Cheese closed? No, Chuck E. Cheese is not closed. It's open till 9 o'clock. Mama, Chuck E. Cheese, you're not going to be able to lie. I'm trying to save you from embarrassment. We finna enter that age. I seen a school that was totally artificial intelligence. And no, it's not totally. They still had to have people in there supervising, watching the kids. But the kids would only do the school work for 2 hours. And then the other 6 hours, they're in there doing, they're in there learning trades. And these kids are way more advanced. Even with only the two, they're way more advanced than the public schools, than the regular schools. Way more advanced. And it's because they all got individual teachers. They have individual teachers that they can ask questions to. People feel better when you can ask questions. You ain't gonna sit in class and when we was in grade school and with the kids, that's down when they was in grade school, they be scared to ask questions because it's gonna be embarrassing because they gotta ask it in front of everybody. Then you holding the class up. And people getting frustrated. Well, now you don't have to do that. Now the child is listening to the got the headphones on, and got the teacher got the little, maybe a little iPad or something, and the teacher on it, he can ask the teacher certain questions, nobody and bother nobody until he or she actually gets what that information is, and they can move on to the next problem. Are we preparing our kids? And I feel like, so-called blacks, they have we have ensured, if that sky don't crack, that we're gonna be at the bottom, and for the next 2,000-3,000 years. And it's not that we're at the bottom, but like I said, it's not that we're at the bottom. A lot of us don't understand what the bottom is. A lot of us never seen the bottom. A lot of us haven't seen the bottom. I heard a person say, if you make $30,000 a year, $32,000 a year, you're the top 1% in the world. When it comes to the world's economy and everybody, if you make $32,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. You're in the top 1%. Most of us listening to this video are in the top 1% when it comes when we talk about global economics. All right, we talk about global economics, and you're complaining about this. I'm sitting up here talking to y'all at 10:30 on the internet. Y'all up here listening, but we'll mess around and even lose that position because we're not. We have no. We ain't got no foot into this game, into this AI. People are gonna be making a whole bunch of money on this Grand Theft Auto that's gonna get ready to come out. We gonna be out there evangelizing on this Grand Theft Auto. Maybe out there with a tip can. In somebody's world that they've paid for, and we can go in there and try to make some coins and teach the word, and it's gonna be another world. We're just gonna be buying real estate. You're gonna be doing certain things. We ain't got our foot in it. It was another one too. This brother, he has a media company, totally AI. He's producing movies, HD, full quality, total quality movies, full screen, full production movies, totally AI. All you gonna need is voice actors. He's doing that for $500,000. $500,000 to get you a motion picture movie. He already got examples of it. We just behind. I'm gonna be honest, man. For me, if I had a child that was graduating now, I'd rather him spend 4 years on the internet trying to figure out how to make some money, trying different things. I rather if he can spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week on the internet, streaming, doing something on some platform, and figuring out, I'd rather him do that. You see these kids going to this CasaNet streamer university. I be trying to get my child in there. I be trying to get my child in some kind of streaming. If he's not streaming, he need to know how to work a camera. He need to know how to do production, edit videos, because that's what people want to do, and that's what these kids gonna want to do. I'm already seeing that too. These kids gonna want to be streamers. They gonna want to be streamers. I don't blame them. But also it's gonna come with some other stuff too, man. It's gonna be just as dangerous as rappers, as being a rapper. These streamers are gonna be dying young. We ain't gonna see these streamers get old. If they don't make it, if they halfway make it, the streets are gonna get in there. The streets are gonna get in there, and then some foolishness is gonna happen. And this is gonna mess around and happen on camera. It's gonna mess around and happen on camera. It's gonna mess around and happen on stream. We're gonna see some of these great streamers pass away. You know, it's just inevitable. It's just, you know, our culture is that poisonous. All right, our culture is that poisonous that we will eventually see that. But that's mostly what I want to speak on, man. Just the fact that nobody's speaking on this, and it's kind of scary to me that we're just not prepared. This is like my third, fourth video talking about. I did a couple videos calling the devices of Satan. Our eschatology is even gonna have to change. Our eschatology or eschatological view will change with these robots doing all the work, with AI doing all the work. You know, certain doctrines are gonna have to change, and I don't even know if we're able, you know, especially Israel, I don't know if we're able to really even do that. I don't know if we're able to come off of, you know, some of these doctrines. I don't see us. I don't think we're that. The people that are leading this thing now, they weren't the teachers. Once the teachers died, it just stays stagnant. The doctrine just stays stagnant. I don't know if they can come off of it. Just like Elder Zabak, you know, he told I'm teaching what they taught. That's it. I ain't coming off of it. But you're gonna have to come off of it when you have this other element in here, and you're gonna have to know the principle. You're gonna have to know the principles of this thing so you can apply them in this new age that we're going to enter into. You can't just be saying I don't see robots in the darn text, so I could sleep with a robot. Ark. It ain't Joker sleeping with male robots. Men sleeping with male robot. Oh, Ark, it ain't homosexuality because it's just a robot. Ark. You know, I can have as many robots as I want. You know, these my concubines. I got robotic concubines. The fact that we can't even get off of that Old Testament and glean and see the problems with certain things and bring it into a modern term. And like I say, that modern thing is over. We are in the age of AI. It ain't really porn. The robots. It ain't nobody's wife, so I ain't gotta lust after nobody's wife. It's a robot. You out there groping the robots, and then it's gonna be a fight of the robot. Whether the robot's human, do they need rights? And you know, it won't be. It'll overshadow civil rights, black rights, and so forth. Like I say, man, you know, I pray the sky crack before we get into this stuff. But you know, if we get there, man, it's gonna be pandemonium, man. And like I said, we gonna mess around, have dirt on our face, man. We're gonna be messing around out here. I'm telling you, man. We're gonna be them. If you look at all them little AI robotic movies, there's always a group of people that are digging in the trash, dirt on their face, you know. And it's a good class. It's a majority class like that. That middle class is definitely gonna be wiped out. So it's gonna be the rich and the poor. Like I say, we're gonna have dirt on it. It's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be hard to even get a good shower because they're gonna have robots policing us and everything. Man, please, it'll mess around and be a whole little war. And we saying the robots are oppressor, and the robots being oppressed, and then they oppressing us. Y'all done seen the movies, man. There was one movie, I want to say it was iRobot. No, or it was either iRobot or it was another. It's another good AI movie on Netflix. Also, them put in them in the Netflix movie. You could put your memory. You can put your whole being. They can take all your how you talk and how you think and all of that stuff, and they can put it on a hard drive and pretty much put it in another put it in a robot, AI robot. So you dead, but pretty much, you know, your memories, everything that kind of built you up and how you they can put inside of a robot, and that robot can pretty much be you, but you really dead. You gone. But it's almost like they can capture your spirit and put it inside of this robot. And it's almost like the same thing, but it ain't, it ain't the same thing. But the robot, somehow they made like a child robot. What the robots done went and hid with some humans, and they done ducked off, and now they done made like a hybrid that, that was born half like AI, half human, and control lights, all kind of stuff. Anyway, it was one point in the film where the child asked him, will you go to heaven? I don't know if it could be iRobot, could be this movie. I'm not sure, but he asked, could he go to heaven? He said, nah, that's that's a place where good people go. And then and he was looking sad, and I think the little boy said, well, I don't think I can go either. And then that's a whole nother, like I said, it's a whole nother eschatology. It's a whole nother, like, what, you're saying they can't go, and they got memories and stuff in there. There's all kind of stuff we'll have to dialogue and talk about. But that time is approaching very swiftly, and like I said, I don't, we still around here having these same little, back and forth. We're still trying to do things the old way, trying to still trying to get inside of these buildings and all of this stuff. Man, it's over, bro. It's over. I don't even think the buildings are even valuable no more. Not, especially not to just sit in on the Sabbath or sit in on Sunday. And I think COVID kind of showed us that, but then we kind of just went back to the traditions. You know what I'm saying? We just went back to the traditions. But this is just something for y'all to think about, man. You evaluating these kids, man. Look into this stuff, man. See, and try to, if you have children, try to guide them into a way into this new age. Do not be thinking about, oh, he finna go, my son finna go be a doctor. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. It take 8 years to do that, man. Man, doctors probably won't even be needed, man. Probably won't even be necessary. I seen a darn robot putting shingles on the roof. Was on top of the roof with shingles, man. And that's the stuff we need to be talking about, especially within the Black community, where we don't have to create jobs, but we can start businesses. We can put our money together and buy that machine that's putting them shingles on that roof, man. Buy a couple of them. Buy a couple of robo taxis, that we can put on the road, that we can run. And the thing too, man, with those 501c3s, okay, you can talk about Black Jesus and you can do all that, but you can't flip that money. What you can't do is flip that money. That money that comes into that 501c3 nonprofit, it cannot be flipped. I seen this brother too talking about $2.6 trillion of nonprofit money gets funneled away every year, where nonprofits are bringing in $2.6 trillion. And this money, what is this money doing? He was saying, like, we got all this homelessness, we got all of these social issues. We ain't got no communities. We ain't got no. These folks ain't got nothing to eat. Where's this money going? Where's this $2.6 trillion going? And of course, it's going in people's pockets. They funneling, and there's gonna be problems with that too, man. Because it's gonna be AI. It's gonna be over these things. AI is gonna be over these taxes. It's gonna be over it. Just get prepared, man. Get prepared. My dad is a counselor, psychiatrist. Are they gonna need that? Man, these folk gonna be able to talk to somebody, and I'm talking about talk to somebody. Like, even now, the way we try to talk to AI, and AI, can you tell me what Job was talking? Like, you gonna be able to have literal conversations with the people. You ain't got to talk like that. You ain't got to talk. You know how you talking to a foreigner and you had to talk to them. You almost trying to make them understand. You ain't gonna have to talk like that. You can ask, and that's one of our issues too with AI is that we're and I'm telling you, even myself, I still talk to it like it's a child, like it's a foreigner, like it don't really. It's gonna have a hard time when really the AI is smarter than me. Really, the AI has a better vocabulary than I do. Even in the streets, even has a better street and urban vocabulary than I do. But yeah, man, we need to get these kids prepared, man. We got to get them out of that loop of, oh, we gonna go to college and I'm gonna go get me a good job, or da 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 da. And yeah, it may not be there. May not be there. I understand the age that we're in. We're in the age of AI. Pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.